Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the Best People We Know radio show. This is where you'll meet experts and celebrities who share their success secrets with you to help you be your most successful best too. Your host, Deb Scott, is a certified professional coach at Discover the Amazing You Coaching and author of the award-winning motivational book, The Sky is Green and the Grass is Blue, turning your upside-down world right side up. The Best People We Know radio show brings you powerful resources, effective ideas, and transformational tools you can use to educate, inspire, and motivate you to be your most purposeful, peaceful, happy best. So get ready to experience mind vitamins to feed your whole soul. Good change is about to happen. The Best People We Know radio show. Here's your host, Deb Scott.
Well, good morning to all. Well, actually, good afternoon to all the best people I know. Yes, we're doing a special afternoon show because we have Dr. Lori-Shemek with us. And she has a brand new book. It was a bestseller before it was even released, called FATlamation. Isn't that like super clever? I love that. FATlamation. Yeah, shrink your fat cells, lose the weight, and feel great. That's our topic today. So I'm very excited to have Dr. Lori share her shine with us. She's been on the show before, and I love her work. She's such the real deal, and I know that you're going to enjoy this show as well. I want to remind you that you can get a listing of all of our great guests if you go to debscott.com. That's pretty easy, debscott.com, and you'll see a monthly Mind Vitamin newsletter right there in the upper hello bar or on the right-hand side. And you sign up, you'll get a free ebook, and you'll get a listing of all of our great guests. And if you have a Blog Talk Radio page, you can follow us by clicking that blue icon underneath the Best People We Know logo, and you'll get updates right from Blog Talk Radio, which is super easy. All right. Well, this is going to be a great show. Lord knows I'm looking forward to learning everything that Dr. Lori has to share. So here's some questions for you. Okay. Does this sound like it could be you? Are you consistently overweight no matter what you do? Or you want to lose a few pounds and you can't no matter what you do? Have you tried everything? Do you feel like you're plagued by that stubborn fat hanging around your hips, your thighs, or your belly? Well, there's a reason for that, and Dr. Lori is going to share that with us today. All those frustratingly pointless diets and exercise regimes have failed to address the root cause of weight gain. Well, Dr. Lori, she's recognized by the Huffington Post as one of the top 16 best health experts. You'll see her smiling face featured on CNN, Fox, ABC. You'll read articles that she has featured in Ladies' Home Journal and so many other places that we can't list them all and we'll never get to the show. But to make a quote, from Dr. Lori, cutting calories doesn't cut it. Our problems with fat are created because we eat foods that cause the body's natural fat cells to become inflamed and irritate our fat cells, causing chronic inflammation and chronically oversized fat cells. This irritation causes the body to store up fat permanently. So no matter how hard you exercise or how diligently you cut back on calories, you might have this serious condition, which she calls FATlamation. And she has a revolutionary 3-week solution, which is changing lives. If we want to fix our problems with fat, we need to reduce the inflammation in our fat cells. And how to fight FATlamation, Dr. Lori reveals her revolutionary 3-week program that helps us reboot our chemistry by returning our body's fat cells back to their natural healthy state. And it's of critical importance to maintain balance between those good fats, the omega-3s, and the bad fats, the omega-6s, and how a proper ratio of both will help boost your metabolism. And your body will burn fat simply by eating the right kinds of foods. And her book is launching FATlamation by HarperCollins. Wow, it's a privilege and a pleasure. I can't wait to learn, along with all of our listeners, to have Dr. Lori with us today. Good morning, good afternoon, girlfriend. How are you?
Oh, I am wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so great to be back on your show. You know I love you.
I love you, too. We are just one big group global love hug here.
Right.
Because we're the best people we know, right?
That's right. Somebody has to love us.
Absolutely. Might as well be us.
Right.
Well, this is revolutionary. I mean, what a great new book. Tell the listeners, how did you come up with this idea? Because it really is, what a catchy title. I mean, I just love the title. It just cuts to the chase.
That is so great. Thank you for that. Yeah, my first book was called How to Fire Up Your Fat Burn, and I touch on it a bit, in that book, but not very much. But I wanted a way where I could, get people to understand exactly why they're gaining weight and the core cause of it. And I was trying to figure it out. What is it I can do visually, anything, to get the message across. And then one day I was simply walking my dog, and I went, FATlamation. And that was the start of it. And so from there, I just took the information in my research and more. And it's been years of research, but it is so important for people to understand because inflammation is the core cause of most illness, disease, faster aging, and weight gain. So that's really important for people to know.
Yeah, and talk a little bit more about that. First of all, it sounds like a divine download to me because that, all the best things happen when you're walking your dog because it's like lots of dogs, But what a great title. And I have some of the stuff that I've read about inflammation being the root cause of so many illnesses. It really is amazing to me, and I would love for you to share with us a little bit more about that because I don't even think people know that they have inflammation. I know I started taking turmeric recently, and the more I learn, the more I know I don't know. So tell us a little bit about this with inflammation and then how it gets into the weight and then the fat cells, because I don't think a lot of people listening right now even know they're suffering from this.
That is an excellent point, Deb, because 75% of the population has low-level inflammation, and they don't even know it. 75% are walking around with it. I know it. So now there's three types of inflammation. There's acute inflammation, which we all have experienced because it's an important part of our immune system. It helps us heal. We've all been injured. We've all had some sort of illness or another, and without it, we wouldn't be alive, really. So you can look at it like if you cut your finger, you know how it gets red around the cut and it hurts. Well, that response is acute inflammation, and your body sends out an enormous amount of inflammatory molecules. Boom. I mean, they're just out there like that. And soldiers, if you will, rush to the site, they mend it, and it heals, and then they go away. Well, with silent inflammation, the inflammatory molecules are actually 24/7. They're much lower, at a much lower level, but it goes on and it continues 24 hours a day, every day. And so its very name, silent, is the problem because the only time we know it's there is once the symptoms occur. Symptoms that, for example, that come along with heart disease or with diabetes or rheumatoid arthritis, those types of things. Once that happens, we've got this inflammatory effect. And silent inflammation is inflammation that's gone a bit wacky, if you will. So now we have silent inflammation, and as I mentioned, it's the core cause of most illness, disease, faster aging, and weight gain, right? So now we have fatlamation, inflamed fat cells that are silent inflammation of the fat cell. The fat cell, like silent inflammation that may set up anywhere in the body, is in the fat cell, and it produces a low level of inflammatory molecules. And these fat cells, you can look at them like factories that spew out inflammatory molecules. And these molecules circulate throughout the body and have a metabolic effect where they slow down the metabolism, and you gain weight. Well, what happens is with more weight you put on, you put out more of these inflammatory molecules, and it becomes a vicious cycle. Now, we used to think that fat was this jiggly mass, and it just sat there essentially. And we now know that that's not true, that fat cells really do have their own agenda, and they're not this inert, lifeless mass that we once thought. They're an active, viable, alive organ. In fact, they are our number one largest endocrine organ. So that's really important to know. And they send out messages, the fat cells send out messages and more. So just by taking an anti-inflammatory pill, such as ibuprofen, doesn't even do what's needed. So it's important to know that you can't take care of it with just pills. That's a lot of people think that, well, I can. What that's just doing essentially is taking away with, for example, inflammation. You're taking away the inflammatory effect. Okay.
Wow. So, the interesting thing is that 70, as you said, 75% of the people have it. They don't even know that they could be suffering from it. It's not going to be stopped with a pill. Inflammation with ibuprofen or whatever, that isn't going to be doing it.
Right.
So you came up with this 3-week program that scientifically does help. Now, obviously, I know the book just came out. I know it's number 4 today. So I don't know. It probably already hit number 1 yesterday, and it was a bestseller before it even came out. But people are going crazy over this 3-week recipe for success that you have. So I want people to be able to get the book, and I want people to know how to get it. So it's FATlamation. It's Dr. Lori-Shemek. But give them an appetizer, if we can use that word, for what they're going to discover, because I think a lot of people are psychologically going to get free that, you know what? Don't be discouraged. If you feel like you've tried everything, you haven't, because shrinking your fat cells is going to make a huge, huge difference.
That's right. And so for example, when you think of your fat cells, if you're overweight, you have fat cells that are toxic and they're inflamed, okay? And they're acting as if they're sick or infected, and it makes it impossible, right, for the body's master weight loss hormones, like leptin, for example, to function properly. And so it stops these toxic bloated fat cells from releasing stored fat. So when think about it, we have around 50 billion fat cells in our body. That's an average. Depending on how much weight you have, it can go up to 100 billion. And so what you want to do is start reversing that fat cell inflammation. And in this 3-week or 21-day plan, you will do it easily and effortlessly, because everything that you will be eating and taking in are targeted to reverse the fat cell inflammation within your body.
Wow. Okay, well, that sounds great. Well, tell us, you're on a roll, Dr. Lori, so just keep going. So what you're saying is once we change that structure and get rid of that inflammation in the size of that fat cell and shrink that down, then it's going to be so much more effective when we eat right and we exercise. We'll see that weight coming off a lot quicker, and we're going to feel better, probably have more energy, be more clear-headed. I mean, the list must go on. So
it does.
So tell us more what some of the specifics are.
Right. So when you can't, like I said, you can't get rid of it with an anti-inflammatory, right? So you have to use nutrients to reverse that and reprogram that fat cell, because remember, it's sending out messages. And it's a toxic and it's sick. So what you want to do is to start reprogramming the fat cell inflammation with nutrients such as resveratrol, the antioxidant resveratrol that targets fat cells and literally reverses the inflammation. What you're taking, the turmeric that you're taking, is going to do that as well. The fish oil is excellent because the omega-3s actually saturate the fat cell and begin to reverse the inflammation within. And so what you have, once that happens, and it happens quickly, you then start creating healthy fat cells that know how to release fat in a healthy way. You're reprogramming them. Unhealthy, toxic fat cells are bloated with fat, and they're bloated with arachidonic acid and other compounds that prevent the release, the healthy release, because a fat cell's mission in life is to provide cushioning for the organs, keep you warm, and to provide energy when needed. So a healthy fat cell releases energy the way it's supposed to. It releases fat for these purposes the way it's supposed to. And unhealthy fat cells keep it stored and do not release it. And so, you think about all of these fat cells in our bodies that are releasing these inflammatory molecules, they end up down the road creating full-fledged FATlamation, which are health conditions such as heart disease, obesity, and things of that nature.
Wow. No wonder we're so tired. I tell you, when things aren't working well, nothing is going to work well. And it's funny that, we get so crazy about, we got to have like the right skincare products and, get the car tuned up and, do all these things to take care of all this stuff, yet we don't realize that, we have to take care of the size of our cells and how they are functioning, and are they functioning at the rate that they should be. One of the people that we both, obviously because she's endorsed your book, Toscarino, and her story was amazing. I mean, she was just so overweight and kind of going through the divorce and miserable, and then she had this eat clean thing that changed her whole life. And I mean, one of the most beautiful women and just fantastic. And she's endorsed your book, and she writes, "It can't be said any simpler. When we are inflamed, we are unwell, overweight, and hopeless. Finding our way back to health may be as easy as squashing the inflammation." I love that because it's a very targeted, specific solution to the problem. And you've given us a couple of tips here, just with the right foods, the healthy cold water fish. That I guess that would be salmon and things like that. The right fish, and then and go ahead.
Yeah, and I was going to say, and if you can't eat fish, then there are other sources of omega-3 fats that you can ingest that will help do the same thing. Now, fish oil is highly concentrated omega-3 fats in this way, where they actually are highly effective in reversing that fat cell inflammation. But yes, and one of the key benefits of this program is that you're going to be detoxing your liver. Your liver is your number one fat-burning organ. So the very first week, you're going to be detoxing the liver so that it will start to release the fat within the liver, and blood can flow through, and it can do its job of taking care of the toxins that are circulating throughout your system. And that's why the program, I love it. I love the diet itself because, and I hate to call it a diet because it really is a wonderful way of eating. I love it because it's creating optimal health at the same time. So people who are, for example, tired and they don't understand why they're tired all the time, and they're carrying around extra weight no matter how much, they have maybe dark circles under their eyes. All of this combined, they may have a fatty liver. 75% of all women have a fatty liver, and they don't even know it. And so this is a result of what's going on with the weight gain crisis we have going on here in our country. Now, the remedy for that is to start targeting and reversing the inflammation within the body and the fat cells itself.
I tell you, we don't think about the liver. We got to be more friendly to our livers, right? Within the liver, we're just like so forgetting livers. We think about hearts and things like that, but the liver. And without a liver, you can't function. And we think about people that are jaundiced. Liver's not working well. Liver's so important. I'm fascinated. I think that I'm one of those people that needs the liver cleanse. I'm telling you, I'm just so excited to get on this myself. So let's talk a little bit about it. I want people to know how they can get the book, FATlamation, FATlamation, Dr. Lori Shemek, HarperCollins, it's already a bestseller. And you have the plan in here. Part 1 is talking about how FATlamation makes you fat. So, how does this happen? Part 2, getting rid of the inflammation, and you give the specifics about the metabolism and things like that and what to be aware of. But then Part 3 is really that FATlamation-free diet. And then, Part 4 is kind of that lifestyle. I like how you say you don't call it a diet because it's really not a diet. It's really a way of being.
Right.
And but let's so people get the book. They're going to be able to go through it. We can't cover it here in half an hour.
Right.
But let's do a little bit more in Part 3. Some of the things that surprised you. Some of the things that people are kind of shocked at, and how quickly they've really seen the effectiveness of implementing your FATlamation-free program?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yes, what I hear a lot is people are surprised at how much energy they have, because if you think about it, you're clearing up the liver. You're detoxing the liver. You're detoxing your body. And also what's happening is you're getting off sugar. You're kicking it to the curb forever. You're getting off refined carbs and excess carbs, okay? The majority of the problems we have going on right now are from an exorbitant amount of carbohydrate intake. Most people focus on carbs when they're eating as opposed to, and I'm talking about even healthy carbs. So if you're eating a serving of brown rice, people normally will have 2 to 3 servings of it in one sitting, okay? And so there's that portion distortion going on. Well, with
portion distortion, that's a tweet right there. Portion distortion. Are you suffering from portion distortion? Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and so with this plan, you will everything's in place for you, and there are recipes for every meal. There's a recipe, a new recipe. There's pancakes. You can have pancakes. You can have wonderful foods, and they're targeting fat cells. These specific foods within the recipes are targeting fat cells to reverse that inflammation. Things like blueberries and blueberry jam, and that are created to absolutely satiate you, make you feel as if you've had enough food, and that's the whole point of this. And you're going to get everything you need. You're going to get your veggies. You're going to get your protein. Protein is key in terms of weight loss, because you're targeting. You're not just balancing blood sugar with protein, but you're also triggering hormones like CCK that tell the brain you've had enough food. And so that's
you're not
really
feeling
key.
hungry.
Right, and that's one thing people love about this plan is that they're not hungry. I actually got a text just a little while ago from one lady who's going through the plan, and I'm going to have her on a program with me here locally, and she is so happy. She's so excited, and she said, I can't believe how much energy I have, how much weight I've lost, and that she's feeling, she's just feeling good. And that's what I love about it, because it's not just about losing weight. You'd never want to really just go on a diet for the diet's sake. What you want to do is lose weight and create optimal health at the same time. That's the best way to do it.
And does this tie in, Lori, with for those of us who are dealing with some of those changes in the hormones and sleep patterns? How can this be of help to people, women that are in that particular situation?
Well, a lot of women that are say they're going through menopause or whatever, they're premenopausal or whatever, they are typically experiencing some symptoms. And when that happens, the cortisol has increased, then they're gaining weight, and they are suffering from cravings, weight gain, and again, it just becomes, like I said, a vicious cycle of inflammation within the fat cell. And cortisol, in particular, likes to store fat in the belly area. Well, this is our most dangerous fat because this, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is, and it produces even more of these inflammatory molecules, which creates even more of the belly fat. So with this plan, you're going to seriously reduce the cortisol level. You're going to then start feeling better. You're going to sleep better, and your choices, you won't have the cravings for the carbohydrates that a lot of people have, or the sugar. And sugar addiction is huge. In fact, I have an audio program that I offer for those who purchase the book at my book's website that will help people, and additionally help people get off sugar, because sugar is very toxic. It's the number one inflammatory food out there, if you can call it a food.
If you can even call it a food, people.
Right.
There you go. Well, let's make sure that people know how to find your website. Tell them that. And then I want to ask you, why is it 3 weeks? Why is the 3 week? Because that seems like, wow, that seems pretty quick to reprogram any cell in my body. I mean, seriously, just my thinking in 3 weeks. It's like, can I reprogram it that quick? But let people know how to get the book, okay, at your website, if they want to get some coaching one-on-one with you, because you do that. And then let's talk about the 3 weeks.
Right. So you can find my book at FATlamation.com. It's like inflammation, but FATlamation.com. And there are loads of free bonus gifts for those that purchase the book. And also, I've created a group where those who have purchased the book, it's a private group, where you have access to me to ask me questions. I'll have tips, recipes, and things of that nature. And there will be other people there that you can connect with and who are also going through the same thing. And also my website will have the book as well. It's Dr. Lori-shemek, SHEMEK.com. And so now, with every bite you take, you are changing the nature of your genetic output. Okay, I won't go into it here, but I talk a little bit about it in my book. And epigenetically, we have 80% control in the outcome of our health. Okay, you can influence the expression of your genetic expression with the proper nutrients, 80%. Okay, now this is a great thing to know, and on the other hand, we have 80% responsibility in if we choose to have optimal health or not. It applies to weight loss as well, because when you take in nutrient-dense foods, antioxidants, and you're saturating your fat cells, you begin immediately to change, epigenetically, to change your genetic expression. And it happens, it's an environmental effect that occurs within the gene. So now it can happen with pollution, it can happen with the foods you eat, it can happen from a lack of water. You're creating low-level inflammation from a lack of water. When your cells don't have enough water, cellular function slows down, okay? And so you feel tired, you feel sluggish. If you always reach for that candy bar or that Coke in mid-afternoon for energy, you may be mildly dehydrated. If you suffer from cravings or hunger and you gain weight, you may be mildly dehydrated. And you're inflamed, okay? Your fat cells are inflamed. When you drink the water and you do it, immediately your cells come to life and start to change. Things happen in a healthy manner. You do it consistently every day, change occurs, and it's really beneficial and helps with weight loss. There's a lot of studies out there showing how important, for example, water is just in reducing weight and inflammation.
I just think about my plants. They look so much better when I spray them, mist them. They come to life. They just immediately. immediately. It's like, okay, that took 2 seconds. Excuse me, I just want to like spray myself and all my cells and get them looking back to, the great functioning. And you look better on the outside when everything's working on the inside. So, this is amazing that you've started all of these. This book is groundbreaking, and I know that you have. Yes. Thank you. And you have so many, I know you have a major media campaign and you have another show after this one, but I love how you're giving people a lot of bonuses in the book, but you're also giving them a community. Because people do succeed more, don't they, when they're around other people encouraging them?
Really, we're all social people, and when we have support, from a group of people that say, yeah, I hear what you're going through, and this is my experience, and maybe this can help you, and, hey, Deb, I'm here supporting you. Don't worry, this is going to be great. You rock. You're doing wonderful. Wow, can you share what you're doing with us? All of that, and people share back and forth is going to only create success. Because you're getting accountability, you're getting support, and, of course, I'll be there along the way as well. So, yeah, it's really important for people to know that they have that support. I think about those who try to go it alone. Some can do it, but most feel better when they have somebody who knows that they have their back.
I know for me that's definitely true. I mean, I feel better just talking to you now. So we can all replay this show and we can all recycle all of that as well, which is great. But it really is amazing to me how our thinking, just because we think something's going to be difficult or just because we're in a habit of thinking, I don't have a solution to that or I haven't thought of that. Even in these few minutes that we've spent together, you've changed so many of my preconceived ideas. And I know you have for many of the other listeners and the thousands that are reading your book and working with you. It's this simple shift in, aha, I had no idea. Like that wasn't even on my radar to think that weight gain might be because I have fat cells that are inflamed. I would have never thought that in 3 weeks of eating these foods and eating them in this format and doing these things that Lori's suggested, that I would automatically start having more energy and feeling better. And I didn't know that I might be addicted to sugar, or I didn't know that I was eating the wrong type of fat, or it just goes on and on and on, which is why you love what you do and you're the expert in your field. And Huffington Post has you as the top 15.
Thank you,
Health
Deb.
Expert.
It's really a matter, and I love what you said. It's just simple shifting. It's a shift. It's a mindset shift. So when you look at something and you say, I choose to do that. I choose to make these choices because I'm making my health a priority. That's where change happens. It occurs within, and that's what you want. You want to come from a place of, nobody out there is going to take care of my health but me. And down the road, you won't have to look back and go, why didn't I do that? Why am I in this position now? You'll not be there, and you'll never have to look back and think that. And, it's simple shifts like a lot of people are buying whole wheat bread they think is healthy. Well, typically it is healthy in most cases, but a lot of the whole wheat bread they're buying, if they're not looking at labels, the second ingredient on the list is sugar. So 2 slices of whole wheat bread are raising blood sugar levels as much as 2 tablespoons of eating white sugar. So those are the kinds of things.
Oh, good grief.
I know.
Wow. And if you could see the look on my face, that was like, oh. That's kind of sneaky, isn't it?
It is sneaky. And the food manufacturers know that people are addicted to sugar, and they're just standing there waiting for you to come back and buy more. And people love sugar. But once you get off it, and it takes about 3 days, once you get off it, you begin to realize how much better you feel, because people are unknowingly ingesting sugar. It's in almost every product. It's in salad dressings. It's in ketchup. It's in bread. It's in tomato sauce. It's in so many products you would never know it's in. You know, I was at Whole Foods the other day, and I was looking at some chicken broth, and I looked on the back, organic chicken broth, because I naturally look at labels. And in the ingredients, there's sugar in there. Plain old chicken broth. And so that's why it's critical to start looking, just get in a habit. It becomes a habit. I have that habit. People that I've coached have the habit now, and it really does lend to your success. Truly does.
Wow. Well, I tell you, I know I need to be. Knowledge is power. And
it is, isn't it?
I can't thank you enough for, like, educating us. Re-educating or educating. In my case, maybe educating so many times for the first time. But the book is, and what a great cover. I love the pink with, you know, how to fight, and then with that bright yellow FATlamation with the exclamation point. I mean, it's very eye-catching.
Thank you.
Kind of
says it all.
It's
been a labor of love.
How long did it take you from start to finish?
It takes, most people don't realize, but it takes a very long time to create a traditionally published book with a major publisher. So it takes about 9 months to a year and a half. And this one took a little over a year. There was a lot of research that went into it, yes. So it's been a labor of love, though. It really is. It really is. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Well, you are just using the God-given talents. I mean, you are definitely sharing the shine. You are doing what you were created to do, and I can't. I'm just so excited that you were here and on the schedule. And I know you're just super busy. We want people to get the book so they can get Dr. Lori-Shemek. They can go FATlamation in the Facebook group. We're going to have a promotion, people from the radio show. We're going to have some book giveaways as well, so we'll be doing a little bit of that, so stay tuned. Any final word that you would like to give to listeners before we go?
Yes, I would like them to know that they don't have to be hopeless anymore. It's over, because now you know the true cause, and you will learn exactly what it takes, how to reverse that fat cell inflammation, how to lose weight, and to really value yourself and your health. That's where it starts. Once you do that, you'll begin, and you go through the program, you'll begin to lose weight and create optimal health. And isn't that the most important of all?
Oh, my gosh. Do you see me raising my hand? I'm with you.
Aww.
I'm singing that song. I love it. Thank you so very, very much. Much love and light. You're awesome. Congratulations on the brand new bestseller with HarperCollins. And I know it's going to be a great success. And I'm just going to ask everybody, in addition to getting the book, because you are worth it, and you're going to learn a lot. I know I have. And we can learn together and become better together, you know, because we didn't meet Dr. Lori by accident. And I know the more you know her, the more you're going to love her, because the more you're going to learn and you're going to feel better, and it's just going to keep going and going and going. But I like to ask people to share the show with a friend, because that's what keeps us going, Dr. Lori. So if people can post this and in the link to your book to get the promotion, you know, on their Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, you know, there's so many great resources in social media. We just never have any idea who may be, you know, down in the dumps, and they'll, you know, praying to God, please, you know, I want to lose this weight. I'd like to feel better. And then this little thing we do can help somebody else change course for the rest of their life. I mean, does that always surprise? I mean, you must have so many stories like that you can't keep track of them, but to never tire of those, isn't that wonderful?
It is, Deb. It truly is, and it's one of the gifts that I've been given to be able to be a part of somebody's life in that way. And it means the world to me when I hear that. So if any of you are out there and you have any success, let me know so I can give you a virtual hug, okay?
Oh, that sounds like another story that we can stick to. And you're on Twitter as well. You're all over social media, so we can find you there at Lori-Shemek, and you will see her. Well, just wonderful. Thank you so much, Lori.
Deb. You are absolutely wonderful. You truly
we
are.
Love us. We're all rocking awesome, and
I
tell you, I thank you, because I need this. I need Believe me.
Well, you know I'm here for you. I'm here for you, so always know that.
I do.
Okay,
we're all here helping each other, so it's all good.
Supporting
all right,
each
everybody,
other.
go
I love
get
that.
That's right. We help each other. So get that book, share the show, and let's join that Facebook group, because we purchased the book. We can be part of that, and that's going to keep us motivated. So thank you so much. I know you're busy and you're off to another radio show in a couple minutes, so I'm going to let you go. But thank you for putting us
so much
on the list. All right, everybody, go out, connect with Dr. Lori. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Best People We Know radio show with your host, Deb Scott. For more on Deb and her guests, plus her award-winning guidebook to transformation, The Sky is Green and the Grass is Blue, Turning Your Upside-Down World Right Side Up, go to Deb's website, greenskyandbluegrass.com. You can also connect with Deb for coaching or speaking, and sign up for Deb's free Mind Vitamin newsletter while you're there. So now, you're one step closer today to your greatness. We look forward to being with you next time on the Best People We Know radio show.